It's time to take a ride on the Steelers Afternoon Drive with our co-hosts, Alan Saunders and Zachary Smith.
Welcome to another episode of Steelers Afternoon Drive. I'm Zachary Smith. That is Alan Saunders. Alan, this isn't a hologram. We actually got him on the show. Steelers tight end Pat Freiermuth joining the show. What's going on, Pat?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
We appreciate Pat being the first Steelers player to join us on the afternoon drive. Landon Roberts actually agreed to do it like 6 months ago, but I don't know. He's just he's been difficult to get in touch with. So we appreciate you taking the plunge. Promise we won't get you in any trouble. You know, we'll just ask you like easy questions like who you voted for today. You know, just non-controversial stuff.
Yeah, that was good.
As everybody knows, obviously, Steelers tight end Pat Freiermuth going into a contract year. Don't obviously want to dive into too much of that. So we've talked a lot about obviously the offseason stuff with the quarterback turnover, Russell Wilson, Justin Fields coming into this. And if you guys follow me or know that I have another podcast around the 4 and 2, we've kind of touched on that, but want to get some more of Pat's thoughts. Obviously, the voluntary workouts and stuff have since started after that interview, so we can talk about that as well. But Alan, where do you want this conversation to start?
I kind of want to put like I want to get us into Pat's head about like just as a person that's been covering the team, I feel like it has been one thing after another throughout this offseason. We're just like, oh my God, that happened. Oh my God, this happened. Like, what's it like when it's happening to you? When you're looking at your phone and it's not me, like I see them like, oh, I got to go do some work. And you're like, oh, my whole offensive scheme just changed, or the guy throwing me the quarterback is going to be different. Like, What is that like when you're watching this stuff happen?
Yeah, man, it's weird just because like you aren't like in the loop. Like in high school, like obviously like the best players and the head coach, they talk. I had a different relationship because my cousin was my head coach. So like I knew stuff that was going on. Like Penn State, I kind of knew stuff was going on. Obviously, bring guys in and stuff, but here it's like you're completely out of left. Like everything's out of left field. Like I find out when you guys find out. So it was. Obviously I saw all these trade talks like with different guys like coming in or leaving or all these news and stuff. So Twitter was I was going on Twitter a lot, and so now that it's kind of died down, and obviously after the draft, it's a lot slower on Twitter. But yeah, it was interesting like how everything kind of transpired.
When I get a piece of news and it's like, oh, the Steelers are going to hire Arthur Smith, okay, then I'm saying, oh, well, okay, I have a buddy that I know Rashad Weaver who plays for the Titans, okay, and I had a friend who covered the Falcons. I'll like reach out to people and be like, hey, maybe even like I can look at the offense obviously on tape and be like, what's this guy like what am I getting into? What are some of the people that you reached out to, or what are kind of some of your go-tos when you find out you're getting a new coach, you're getting a new teammate, and you're trying to learn more about them?
Yeah, so me and Kyle Pitts are close from college, going with each other, and then obviously pre-draft training. So me and him, texting and stuff, and KP had nothing but good things to say about Coach Smith. Just being around him early on, love his, you can tell his passion and drive to want to be great and get the offense, where it should be. Everyone's excited. It's been great installing and beginning the install process and getting to know the offense. And I think it's cool because, we have obviously new quarterbacks and stuff like that. And, it's cool to kind of install an offense together, just to kind of, bounce ideas off of and, understand really from the base level of what coach wants. But it's been great so far. And, obviously having Prue in the room, Michael Pruitt, he's been great for the tight ends, really, just to kind of understand what Coach Smith's looking for, how he sees things, all the different versatility that the tight ends has to do and stuff. And so, we're all excited, and Prue's been great. And yeah.
I love sports because Pruitt's been there for like a cup of coffee, and you guys are already just calling him Prue. Like immediately, as soon as he gets in the room, this guy's got a nickname.
Yeah, that's usually how it is, man. You either go by someone's number or abbreviation of their name, and it's funny.
So wait, are you just called Pat?
No, people call me Muth in the facility.
Okay. So, all right. I didn't know if that translated beyond just the fan base, or if that.
Nah. So okay. Yeah, most people call me that in the facility.
Okay.
Talking about new guys, it's gone fast for me. I know, I'm sure it's gone fast for you too, but you're one of the more experienced players on this offense now. Certainly, in terms of guys that have been in this team, as there's continued been changeover. Is it weird for you to go into the locker room and see a bunch of new faces and to have kind of those faces looking at you as like a guy who's been here and done that for a while now?
Yeah, it's definitely weird. Obviously going in my fourth year, I think it's me, Naj, and Dan are the longest guys in the offense. But obviously, we take pride in that. Obviously, guys coming in and learning, the Steeler way and how things are supposed to do. But it also helps that we have a new strength staff, we have new offense coordinator, so we're kind of all figuring things out together. Obviously, there's a baseline of how things are operated in the building and what Mr. Rooney and Coach T wants, but it's cool to kind of adjust that and blend it in with the new and our strength staff and our schedule and everything like that. So it's been cool. Guys looking up to me and other guys just learning the way. But, I was a two-time captain at Penn State, so I'm kind of used to that leadership role, and I'm excited for that. And, I'm excited to get going on field.
You've had it's not like it's been like just a smooth sailing, like great, awesome, you've had some tough NFL lessons in 4 years. You've had injuries. You've seen, like guys around you's careers end not the way they wanted to. You've seen coaches get fired, people, with high expectations not reach them. How have you kind of accepted those, like, hey, this is a hard business lessons, and how do you kind of, I guess, maintain the enthusiasm for what it is you do when sometimes like the day-to-day of it is kind of a bummer?
Yeah, man, like you said, it's a grind. And obviously, it's great playing for a fan base like Pittsburgh because they care so much and they're so passionate and they demand a lot from you. And, that's how, players succeed here, like Cam and all the legends that succeed here, and TJ and them, because not only are they good at football, but they embrace, the good and the bad with Pittsburgh. So, like seeing from them and them going through adversity and stuff has really helped my game. Obviously, I think coming in at my rookie year, it started off hot and I was, scoring touchdowns and all that, making plays. And then the first thing I think back to is Detroit when I fumbled the ball in overtime. That was really, truthfully, one of the first times in my career where I faced adversity to the level of, the expectations from the fan base. So, it was definitely hard on me. And then, fast forward a couple of weeks, Minnesota definitely should have caught that ball, but it got punched out. So, like, having those lessons going to that offseason, it was big for me mentally, and just kind of the expectations and stuff. And obviously, my second year went all right, but like last year, being hurt, that was really a challenge for me mentally. I thought I was just going to miss the Baltimore game. I was good practicing, and then all of a sudden, I got pulled in practice, and I retweak it, so I'm on IR now. And that was really challenging. Just obviously, the third year is big for guys. In my situation, getting drafted in the second round, so it was definitely frustrating. But coming back, I kind of changed my approach into just kind of letting the game come to me and not trying to force it. And I think that was big for me, just kind of going through all that. Now I understand kind of, it is a business, and I'm expected to go out there and perform every single week. And, when I don't, obviously I'm going to get, the criticism and all that. And I embrace that. And going through my past, it's been great for me just to kind of experience it all. And I think I'm more mature because of it now and understand, how things are going to go.
I wanted to ask you, spending time on IR last year during the season, obviously you couldn't contribute on the field. Were you looking for other ways that you could still contribute to the room on a daily, weekly basis for the team and still be just like maybe a sounding board for other guys trying to learn stuff? Or like, what was your role? What did you take on while you were injured?
Yeah, so I was just kind of, we had a young tight end room. We had Darnell, who then had to step up. Connor, who had some experience the year before, but he had to step up, and same with Hot Rod. And I just kind of trying to be that mentor to them. Obviously, when some guys go on IR, they're just kind of hidden away in the training room. But I kind of want to continue to go through my day-to-day process, go to meetings, figure out the game plan, install it myself, and be in meetings just so I can help those guys. They did a great job when I was out, but it definitely sucked, like seeing third down where usually I'm used. Not being in game planned and all that kind of stuff. It definitely sucks. So it was a big test mentally, but I just tried to stay into it as best I could.
you're going to have a new quarterback this year, and obviously you're starting to get through this process with Russ and in the offseason program. What's it like? I mean, it seems like now at this point, I think you've had 4 already in 4 years. This will be 5. Do you kind of have this down? Is there things that you need to work on with a new quarterback at this point?
Yeah, so I mean, every quarterback, like has their little nuances in the offense and little things that they like and how they see routes ran. Thankfully for a tight end, you kind of similarly run all the routes throughout the offensive scheme. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, there's different variations and different landmarks and all that. But I think I've been asked this a lot. Just how do you adjust? And I think it's easier for a tight end because we're all kind of similar builds and we're all kind of similar speed and playing speed and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's easier for a quarterback to rely on us a lot. But no, it's definitely a challenge because everyone has their different verbiage and stuff. And but I'm excited just to kind of go into a full off season with Russ and Justin and even Kyle. Kyle's a great guy. He's awesome. You guys are gonna love him. But those two, those three really, they're awesome guys to be around. And I'm excited for get started in OTAs and get going.
Kyle has his own podcast, so I mean, right from the jump, I knew this is a guy that I would get along with.
Kyle's a beast. He's one of the funny. He's hilarious. He's a great team guy. It's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. What does the day look like right now, though? Like for in the voluntaries and stuff. Like, what does a typical day for you guys look like?
Yeah, so we have meetings start at 9 a.m. We go in there. We go over the offense meet, defense lifts, and then we flip. We work out, go on the field, lift, and run routes and stuff. So it's just all us. It's all voluntary. Obviously, all players. No coaches are allowed out there. But I think phase 2. I think it starts after the draft. I think coaches are allowed to go out there and work out with us. I don't really know the rules. I just kind of do what I'm told.
So how many guys would you say about are participating right now on a daily?
All of them. They've all been there.
Okay.
Every single one. Everyone, obviously it's off season. Things people have different obligations, but everyone that is expected to be there been there, and especially on the offensive side of the ball, and same with defense. So it's been good to have all those guys back and build it from the ground up.
Cool.
You're participating in the draft this weekend.
Yep.
What do you remember about your draft day, the experience? What sort of stands out to you as the kind of memory from that moment?
Franco Harris mispronounced his name.
You said what? Oh yeah, Franco. Yeah, Franco mispronounced my name. Yeah, that always stick out to me. But no, obviously Franco just calling my name. Obviously a legend at Penn State and that in Pittsburgh. That was a huge honor. But I just remember, obviously like you have that dream of going in the first round, and obviously I was sitting there like maybe Jacksonville 20. Who knows? But I knew deep down, if you were to really ask me, I'd be like absolutely not. But that second day, all Friday, waiting around was awful. I remember trying to go work out with my brother, but he could tell I was distracted. And there was a couple teams that made a run early in like the late 30s, early 40s that were interested. And the board fell the right way. I would have got picked up by them, but it didn't happen. But it was a long wait. But once it was me and my brother always laugh. Like once I got the call, it was like the quickest night that's ever happened. Like that was the fastest I've ever. Got drunk. It was the fastest everything. Like it happened like that, and it was a fun time. It was a great experience.
What's it gonna? I mean, how exciting is it now? Like as a player who's been in the league for a little bit, you're gonna call somebody else's name, and you're gonna kind of get to be a part of their memory of that. Is that exciting for you too?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I talked to Teresa about it actually a couple days ago, and her asking the same exact question. I was like, it was cool to have a former player announce me because, me and Franco just hit it off the bat like that. Like he reached out to me the next day and we kind of built that relationship with me, Franco, and his wife, Dana. And I think it's going to be cool, especially that I'm a current player, that I'm on the roster. Like I'm going to announce that kid's name. We're going to have like a connection, helping him make his dreams come true. And then he's going to be able to lean on me, for support and to see how to roll in Pittsburgh. So I'm excited for that opportunity.
I'm trying to think if there's a Penn State guy that you could keep it going. If there's a Penn State guy there in the second round, I don't know if there is one that they would be looking at, but
maybe Theo Johnson.
Maybe Theo.
That would be good for me, but
Theo would be. Listen, Theo would be awesome. He would be a lot of fun. That would be cool.
How does that come about? Like, were you approached by the team about announcing the pick, or like what was that process?
Yeah, it was just, I mean, they just asked if I wanted to do it. And sure, it was pretty easy.
I just wonder how they went about that. They were like, Pat,
Yeah,
we need to go with
yeah.
this.
I mean, I'm sure they had talks of whatever they wanted to do with that pick, but it's a huge honor to announce second round pick. That's a big pick. So
Sure, absolutely. Go ahead, Al.
What when you kind of had like I haven't asked you a lot about this, and part of it is intentional, but I feel like you've built up some goodwill with the Steelers fans. So when you were a young man in Boston, what was your impression of the Pittsburgh Steelers? And maybe how did that, like, in that moment, were you like, oh, Pittsburgh, or like, and when do you kind of change from like that person that is a fan of a team to someone that is a participant in the league, and how does that go?
all right, I'm gonna answer this the best way possible. So,
Whoa! I don't like the way this is going already. Send that merch back, buddy. What are we talking about?
No, but all right, truthfully, so when I got to college, we practiced on Sundays, so I didn't really watch any NFL games unless it was prime time. So I kind of stopped being a Patriots fan then because I wasn't really following it. It was whatever. I was too busy with Penn State stuff. And then so like I wasn't really like a fan of any team really. And then I got the call from going through the draft process. I was like, whatever. Like it would be cool to go home and play. But then I got the call from Pittsburgh, and immediately like kind of I wasn't really a fan of anyone except Pittsburgh, obviously. But the thing that was cool was I was talking to Coach T about it, and those big games of like New England and Pittsburgh, like in those AFC Championship games, like all those meaningful playoff games. Like when I was a kid, I was like, obviously I hated Pittsburgh, but when we played them we played them 3 times, 2 times, some whatever. I was like, obviously it was like it wasn't a division game, but it was an AFC game. But I was like, no, this is like, there's hatred between these two fan bases, there's hatred between these two teams. Like I was trying to tell like the younger guys, like when I was a Patriots fan, like it was intense. Like we circled this on our calendar, so it was cool. I definitely got that feeling. But yeah, it was all good. Try to answer the best way possible.
No, it's tough, man. But everybody comes from somewhere. Like I know, like I guess like DeMar Hamlin got a bunch of crap because like he said, like, yeah, I'd like to play in Pittsburgh. Like everybody's from somewhere. Everybody has that. And like if you didn't fall in love with the sport because of the Patriots, then you wouldn't be here today playing it, right? Like I mean that's how we all have to get here somehow.
Exactly. Like growing up, like there was like I don't know if you guys watched the Dynasty, but like growing up, like I remember those games, everything happening because I've obviously grew up in that area. So I had some great people to look up to watching from the Patriots that I could, be like, oh, I want to be like them one day.
So did you watch the Dynasty? Is that what you're saying?
I did. Yes, I did.
What were your thoughts? Because it's been a pretty hotly debated topic because like it's such a small fraction of it that actually like talks about them winning. Most of it is about like the scandals and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was good. I mean, I think I'm not going to get too in detail with my actual thoughts, but I think that I don't know. I think they should have. I don't know. I think it was good.
The reason that I'm saying is a lot of people are saying they just didn't highlight the winning as much as
that. Okay, thought. Yeah, you're right. No, that was my biggest thing because I remember there was one instance where it was like, oh, we needed they needed like a really good 2010 draft or whatever. That's when they drafted Gronk and McCourty and them, and they talked about it. They needed to have that draft be to propel them into the next age or whatever. And then they went to something else. I think they missed them. It was earlier on, but they missed them 1 in 23 straight. So I don't think they definitely highlighted the winning enough. But
so you were a Patriots fan, and Gronk, obviously, people called you Baby Gronk, and you pushed back against that. Was that just because of wanting to be your own guy, or because you would have thought most people would have embraced that because of Patriots fan Gronk?
Yeah, I mean, I did initially, but I just think like growing up, I didn't want to be someone. I just want to be my own person. I don't want to be someone else because then everything that like if I really embraced it, I could have would have been like everything I did would be compared to him. You know what I'm saying? So
people were commenting on the picture of us at the Pirate game and calling me Baby Pat. So you saying that
if you want. That's funny.
talking about things that inspire people, and I'm interested. You've done the tight end youth thing with Travis, and was part of the playbook at one of those, like, hey guys, here's what we're gonna do. One of us is gonna date the most famous person on the planet, and then we're gonna rise the Q score of every tight end as a result. Was that the plan that you guys came up with?
Tight ends are way up right now.
Tight ends are way up right now. But no, we did that was not talked about between me and Travis at all.
Do you think though that there are people like in whatever, like, junior high football right now, the line to be a tight end has just gotten a little bit longer, right? Like there's 7 more guys that want to play tight end this year than last year?
No, I mean, truthfully, honestly, like tight end, like Kittle, Trav, Greg Olsen, they've really embraced that, and it's awesome because they made it like cool to be a tight end again. Because it was kind of not really, tight ends was just kind of like whatever, it's a tight end, like whatever. But like it's truly like one of the hardest positions in the league. You gotta know all the formation. You gotta move. They like to move tight ends around and switch strength. They gotta pass block, run routes like a receiver. Like it's truly one of the harder positions. So they made it. They've embraced it. They made it awesome. It just sent out the invites for this year, and I'm looking forward to that. It'll be great.
When does that take place?
I think June 17th to the 19th, something like that. Around that time. It's right after mandatory minicamp. I know that.
Gotcha. All right.
How does that go when, I mean, like, there's like, obviously there's, professional respect and admiration, but there's also always that like competition, right? Where like, hey, you guys, like, you want to be better than those guys, even though you're like friends with them and trying to learn from them. How does that dynamic work?
Yeah, I mean, I think actually going back to the dynasty, Woker, I think, had a really cool clip in there where he was talking about like Edelman and him behind him and stuff. I think it's the same way at tight end U, where like these guys, like the guys that are teaching the younger guys, you got these NFL vets and these NFL legends and stuff, like they're teaching you, but obviously they're not gonna, especially like Travis and George, like they have their own little things in the games that like they're not gonna want to tell people because that's what makes them them, So there's always that there's fine line of helping a guy, but also like this is what I do, so like I'm gonna keep it to myself. So it's cool. It's definitely growing, like moving throughout my years in the league. It's definitely cool to see how guys operate that way.
Okay, Alan, I don't have anything else. You still?
I got well, I mean, I guess I know I don't want to get like super heavy, but you have a contract coming up. I think we got to touch on it a little bit. What is your thought process entering this season? Is it different coming into a year where your contract's coming up?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously different. I've embraced it. I think that's really the only thing you can do. You can't really worry about, what the front office thinks or anything like that. I put it all up into my agent. I hired him for a reason. He's one of the better agents out there, I believe, especially for the tight end market. So I'm excited. Again, like I said, I'm just bracing it, taking it one step at a time, going through OTAs, and whatever happens. If it's this offseason, if it's next, I'm going to embrace it. And if it doesn't happen, then I'm going to have to go out there and prove them. So I'm excited.
Did you talk to any of your like older teammates about like what this is like going through this period where you're, kind of in negotiations or you're trying to get a deal done, but you're still, working? Like I know, TJ's gone through that, Minka's gone through that. Did you talk to any of those guys about, how they went about their business?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously I've talked to a lot of guys that has been through it. Most recently, Alex. Definitely talked to him. Obviously talked to Cam. He's been through it a couple of times because he's definitely an older guy. So, but no, it's been cool to kind of get their perspectives and how they handle it, and then go about how I want to handle it. I'm a team first guy. I'm always going to put the team first. We've done all these steps this offseason to finally make a push in the playoffs, and so I'm excited for that, and that's the first step, the first goal in my mind, and anything else that happens after that, I'm cool with.
You mentioned the steps, and there's been a talk from Mr. Rooney on down about like an increased level of urgency about trying to win now and not just build. Do you feel that in not just the sort of way that this offseason has gone, but in the kind of getting in the building and in the day-to-day so far? Does it feel like that's, there is like that? Do you feel that already?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we've had a lot of changes. But like I said before, and everyone knows, like the new strength staff, all that, new coaches on offense. So everyone definitely feels the change and bringing the new guys in and who they brought in and stuff. So everyone definitely knows that sense of urgency. And like, listen, like we know, we play for the Pittsburgh Steelers. There is an expectation to make it to the playoffs and win games and compete for a Super Bowl every year. And if we were just comfortable, going to the playoffs and getting bounced. I mean, I've been bounced 2 out of my 3 years in the wild card, and obviously it gets pretty frustrating. So we definitely need to take that next step, and there's definitely more of sense to get it going and compete for a Super Bowl.
What would you say as we sit here right now you are most excited about in terms of getting into the 2024 season?
My biggest excitement is honestly just, learning a new offense. I think, obviously I've been in the same system for 3 years. And I think I'm excited to get going and learn a new offense, learn, new style of approach. And I'm excited to, build it from the ground up. Like I said, have Russ and Justin in there and bring in a bunch of guys that we brought in and just be around them and learn this whole thing together and go from there.
You know what, real quick too, you met the last time that you and I had talked, on the podcast and around the former too, you had mentioned, you went out there and were throwing with Russ and stuff like that. You've obviously been at voluntaries with Justin, but now like you hadn't talked about any interactions with him at that point. So what have interactions been like with Justin since?
Yeah, Justin's been great. He came in and he was eager to go. He looks great in workouts. He's a good guy to be around. You can definitely tell, like him and Russ, they have that aura about them that they're, they're ready to go and ready to lead our team. And it's exciting to be around. And they definitely are awesome team guys.
It's not funny that you said aura, but that's like a thing now. That's like almost like a meme. Somebody has aura.
Isn't that like a meme out there? Yeah, that's funny. But no, they're awesome.
Gotcha. Yeah. Alan, anything else?
No, residual Penn State, Ohio State talk. None of that.
It came up the first day. I was like, they asked if we like knew each other, and I was like, yeah, like he was committed to Penn State. Came out of the spring game. We all, hung out, and then get out of here. Yeah, then he left to go to Georgia.
Let me just set something up real quick.
I can't. I wish I could talk about it, but I'm 0-3 against him, really. So it's all you.
I didn't hear anything that you said. I was busy with something else. Setting something else up. I had to get a little bit of payback for the Patriots fandom earlier on in your life. So
again, it's all
good. And Alan, anything else?
No, I think we're good, man.
All right. Well, you guys know where to find Pat on his socials, but Pat, I want to give you the opportunity real quick here before we get out of here to talk about your football camp. We know is coming up in a couple months. Give people some information. I've been trying to find kids to sponsor for this thing, man. Yeah. I think I got one, but we'll see if anybody else reaches out to me because I've been trying. But
yeah, so,
go ahead and give the people some info.
Yeah, second annual camp. I'm excited. July 13th. I truthfully don't know the time or location, but it's out. It's on my socials. There's a link.
It's at Pine Richland High School, I believe.
Pine Richland High School.
It says on there.
Cool. I think it's like 9:00. I think something like that. I'm excited. Definitely last year was kind of more of a like feeling out how it's going, like how to run it. But I'm excited for this year. It's going to be a lot of more interaction. I'm going to get some guys on the team to come. I got some buddies from back home that come help. So it's going to be great. It's going to be an awesome time. Music, football. It's going to be great.
9 a.m. to noon on July 13th at Pine Richland High School in Gibsonia. That is where you can find this football camp. I will also be there along with, if you guys do follow Around the 412, does a lot of our YouTube stuff. John, who Pat met at the Pirate game this past weekend as well. We will both be there, and we got to see Seamus Lambert's arm. I got to know if it's real. I got to know if he still has it.
He's excited. Yeah.
There we go. Pat, we can't thank you enough for joining us, pal. Thanks for taking some time out of your day, especially right before the draft with all the voluntaries going on. We appreciate you joining us, man.
Absolutely, guys. Anytime.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, Pat.
Peace.
Steelers tight end Pat Freiermuth joining the show. Big shout out to him. I will have the links to follow. I mean, anybody that's watching or listening to this probably follows him on social media. So, but either way, I'll put them down there. Alan, as far as you go, tell the people where they can find you.
At @Saunders_PGH Steelers Now. My mock draft 3 rounds is up at SteelersNow.com. We'll talk about that more tomorrow. And I think we have the makings of a plan for Thursday. But we're still working on that. But I think we'll be able to keep your interest throughout the day and the rest of the weekend, because we got a lot of draft stuff coming up. I'm excited, man. It's almost here.
I did. I put out. You asked if I was going to get out some corner rankings. I did a top 30, so I hope that was enough. We didn't get to 50.
I mean, look, it was okay, but as I sent you via text today, Shane Hallam, who, by the way, if you don't follow Shane Hallam, I'm new to his work. Okay, I can't say that I've been following him for years.
I've been following for a while, actually.
Okay, at Draft Countdown, put out his ranking of the top 91 quarterbacks. I didn't even know there were 91 quarterbacks.
No.
Actually, my dog is like 90th in his rankings. That's how extensive they are. Yeah.
So it was a bit of an inside joke, that last thing I brought up. Pat's high school quarterback, his name is Seamus Lambert. He's one of his best friends still, and he'll be at the football camp. But like, he swears he still has like an NFL arm, and like, we have like a joke going that he should be the Steelers' 4th quarterback that's brought into camp.
Well, Seamus Lambert is 85th in that top 90. He's right there. He's right there.
Yeah, he is right there. Also, I'll have the link for Pat's football camp, because like I said, I'm trying to sponsor. Like, I put out a post that I was trying to sponsor a couple kids to do it, because I know that the cost of these things can be expensive. Pat has no control over what that costs as well. It's the people that set it up. So I would like to sponsor a kid or two to do it. So if anybody watching or listening to this falls into this age group, boys and girls, grades 1 through 8 are able to participate in this. So reach out to me if you would like to do so. We'll get you in. Make sure you can go to Pat's football camp. Going to be a good time. I will be there as well. I think that's about it. We'll talk about, like we said, Alan's 3-round mock draft. If we have time to also talk about my corner rankings, that would be great. Map out what Thursday's going to look like. But man, 48 hours from now, we're going to be ramping it up for the NFL draft, and I cannot wait. So like, subscribe, hit that notification bell here, hit us in the comments. Let us know what you thought about anything talked about today with Pat. If you were listening somewhere else, leave us a 5-star review and subscribe over there as well. Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast from. We can be found there. You can find me everywhere. Zachary Smith, PGH, for Alan Saunders and myself. Thanks for jumping in. Take another ride on the Steelers Afternoon Drive.